Hello my fellow gamers and welcome once again to Perafilozof City Skylines with us. In this one I'm as always going to continue playing the city in which I plan to reach 1 million population on the hard mode. In the previous episodes I had started a new expansion, I had balanced out the workers from the residential zones with the commercial zones and the industrial zones. I am now just missing about 1500 workers, and those I am hoping to gain very soon because as you can see I have around 200 plus weekly change for population, so I have more people moving in at all times. As I said, the forestry industry is being changed partly by the high density commercial zones and in the other part by the generic industry. That would be over here where I just increase this district, and so the forestry industry, which is owned as industry, will become generic. The parts of the city where I have expanded the high density commercial areas also need to be brought into the appropriate district, and that will happen right about now. This district has turned on a policy for big business and small business enthusiasts. So the small business is called enthusiast and the big business is called big business benefactor. For some reason I thought both were called benefactor. Anyway, in the residential area where I do have some commercial as well and some offices, it seems I do need to institute a pet ban because as more of these areas become high density residential areas, they will produce more and more garbage, and that garbage has to be managed somehow, and I have to reduce it so I do not have to increase the number of incinerators. Up here I'm still waiting for this area to be filled up as high density residential, while in the other areas I'm reducing the amount of low density commercials because I'm changing them for high density ones. You see a lot of them over here, some offices to soak up the sound pollution, and then after that more residential areas. The same thing goes for this side. The old low density commercial zones are going to be switched for offices so that the pollution, the noise pollution can stay isolated. Alright, before this changes, it is going to take some time because there is still not such a high need for industry, so the offices may take a few years to build up. The medium demand is still for commercial areas, and when I look up here in the new zone, I can see that after this part here, which is residential, I can have more offices. Like I said in the previous episodes, I really have to start making offices 4x4 because then that is enough space for the noise pollution to be soaked up, and then I can have more commercial buildings. Now here I have only enough room for 2x4, but that's okay. I don't really have to have a 4x4 commercial buildings in this area. After the railway bridge, I will need to increase the size of these zones if I want to expand further, so I will need more streets to go down here. And as for the cross streets, I will have to think about which do I want to use. I mean, at some point I have to use the two-way normal two-lane street because it is the one where I can place bus stops on. You can have bus stops on these highway ramps that I've been using for these cross streets. Have I reached this point? Yes, I have. For now I will not use any cross streets till I see how far will this go. This is commercial, and after that it would be another area of generic industry, I think. At least one, after which I could have either another area and then a cross street, or I could This one I think I should destroy. So I could have either another area of industry or across it that would be a highway ramp that would be going from left to right. I think that would probably be the easiest thing to build, so that is what I am gonna go with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 zones, and then a highway ramp going from left to right. And over here, how would I get use of more of these zones? Well, let's see, I could get this ramp to go here and then have another street to connect through here. Not very far because of this pillar, but going down it's probably gonna be a little bit better. As you can see, this is again a hill, this is a valley, so that is why these zones get so, I call it destroyed, because of the cross streets. When they are added to streets that are going into another direction on a hill or a valley, these zones tend to get destroyed. And now the lucky thing is that I've used a highway ramp, which does not create the squares for zoning. If I had used a two-lane street, these zones would be looking more like these over here, where if I were to zone industry, then the exits and entrance would be on these streets. Now, it might not be too bad sometimes to have the exits and entrance on these streets, but it all depends on just how much traffic is going through here. At this traffic, and considering how light it is, it wouldn't be that bad. But for example, in other places, like for example in here, if that were the case, that would create traffic jams. So now you see why I'm trying to avoid things like that. I'm now left with only the commercial demand, and I already zoned here and built these. So let's see, where else could I have more commercial buildings? Not in here, that's for sure. These areas are already used up. There's no more low density commercial areas in here. I can get rid of these, and I could probably then add more commercial areas perhaps over here, as I started doing previously. But the trouble is I don't have any offices here to block out the noise pollution, and now I will have both the noise pollution from the highway and the high density commercial areas. So it would require getting rid of some of the residential zones for offices if I want a buffer for the noise pollution. That would be going like this, and then the offices would be going like this, and this area would be high density residential area. Okay, how about the transportation network? I think I colored the bus line wrong last time. What happened now? I seem to be losing my water supply because I'm losing my power supply, and I'm losing that because... why? Oh, I see, because it's not connected over here, because I destroyed those zones which were passing the power through this area, and this should not fix that problem. As I was saying, up here I had colored a bus line with the wrong color, with the green. The green is the color that should be the bus line that connects two areas, so this one should go back to being blue, and this one needs to be green, because this is the line that connects this area with this one. and once I build down here more, I will connect this part of this city with this one, with the bus line as well. While I will expand the bus line that's over here down here with that part of the city. Now let's see and make new districts here. This is commercial and offices, so just big business benefactor. And did I just lose some of the zoning here? I mean the district. It's really annoying that when you use the district tool in areas that are so close to each other, it sometimes deletes the previously built district, so you have to go over it with the tool again. Small glitch, but kinda gets annoying when it happens a million times over. Okay, and this is going to be the new industry, and you see what happens. Again, now I have to redo this thing for the 4th time now. Kinda gets annoying after a while. And for the industrial area, just the smoke detector distribution. How's my imports? Now they're up to 4,800. The exports are at 6,300. For the number of jobs, still missing over 1,500 jobs, while the unemployment is at 3%. I seem to always end up with that unemployment. I'm pretty sure now that it's all about the education. I've noticed other people having the same problem, where the percentages of educated, and depending on how they are educated, will influence just how many buildings get workers, and depending on which they need. I mean, the forestry industry mostly has overeducated workers, but you can see that I still have unemployment. Now, I'm not sure, is it the uneducated who are unemployed, or is it the highly educated who do not wish to work in those industries that do not offer them good employment for their education level? That is another one of the interesting things that I have yet to figure out. And you can see here that if a new industry generic building is at level 1, it usually says not enough workers. Those are the uneducated ones, while as soon as it levels up, it has all the workers it needs. So my best guess would be that I do not actually have any more uneducated workers. I only have the highly educated and the well-educated and the educated, so that is why these buildings at level 1 keep saying not enough workers. I just need to then keep upgrading them to level 2 and 3 so that they will have the required workers as they do wish to work. The question is, are these things here going to level up to level 2 and 3, because they are pretty much farther from the cargo train terminal than these are? And like I told you before in the previous videos, the cargo train terminal has the highest effect on the industry leveling up. Then it's the services, and at the end of the scale it is just the buses and the public transportation. Now that I did say buses and public transportation, something just occurred to me. The bus line that's inside of this part of the city isn't reaching that industry, so that is definitely something that I need to check out. The stations need to be expanded so that they will come close to this industry like this, and that should help them level up more easily. There we go. There should be some extra stops here. And I was also amazed by one single detail in this game. I hadn't noticed it for a very long time until I actually zoomed in. I'm not sure, have you noticed it as well? When you actually plop a bus stop, it creates an indentation in the sidewalk for the buses to be able to stop, pick up people without slowing down the traffic. This is something I haven't seen often in city builders, and I can't even remember the last time I saw this. but it is such a good design decision. So when the bus wants to pick up people, it comes here into the designated part of this road for it seems to go into a bus, and then it connects back into the main traffic without stopping the traffic going through this lane. Such a great design decision. I mean, you see this in the real world, but I do not think I saw this in many other city building games. One additional thing that I will need down here is a new metro station. I'm just using one in the middle here because this area is so thin, and I kind of don't think I need to. I could have two, one on each edge, but I'm trying to stick to one because these things cost just so much. I'm now probably up to 20,000 with the metro stations. Yeah, 19,500 to maintain all the metros. So where would the next one go? Oh, down here. And the line that is connected to is the red line. This one up here I should have connected maybe to another one, but I think it's enough to be connected to this one. And then later on, when I finish this line, I will create a new one to connect with this area here as well. Although I could do that already. Just draw one path through here, close off the red connection through here, and pull, let's say, this blue one into this station. Whoops, missed it this time. Oh, where are you? I don't think I even have a blue stop here on this metro station. Yeah, interestingly enough, I did not even have a stop there. And now I have this one here, which is going to allow for more connections between the cities. You have probably noticed that my demand for residential is almost non-existent in pretty much every video. Sometimes I have very slight green color here for low demand for residential zones. It's mostly because I already have so many zones as residential that are waiting for buildings to be built up. And I also think that a lot of these high density buildings take a long while to actually be filled up with enough households for them to say that they're at maximum. They are not at their actual maximum, just at the maximum of how many they actually fill up. So for example, a 4x4 building will at level 3 go up to 17 or 18 households out of 21, and that takes a while to happen. So even though I might not be getting new buildings, I am getting new teams moving into the previously built buildings that are just not at their, let's call it maximum, even though it's not their maximum, it's just the maximum of how many they actually want to build. I have 4 small houses here, 1 household each. How funny is that? Cool. And how am I with the forestry? I'm still switching it for generic. I could do more here. Just need to get rid of the forestry zone. And then here more generic industry should pop up. I can expand this even a little bit more up to here. And as for the commercial in these areas, I had switched the offices here, the residential area for offices, to isolate the residential area from the sound pollution. I can do the same thing over here. As for the building levels, you can see that I have around 1/4 of this pie made up of level 4 buildings, while the rest are level 3, and a small piece are level 2s. As for the offices, they are pretty much all on level 2, just a few on level 1, probably the new ones. But as for the level 3, that pretty much does not happen. It keeps saying more services, but no matter how many services I give them, they just stick to level 2. If you guys know a way to get the offices up to level 3 on the hard mode, please write me in the comment section. I would love to increase them to level 3, as that would provide more jobs, and I could get more teams to move in, as I would have a requirement for more workers. The commercial areas I have managed to get up to level 3, and in a few of these areas they did require the services, but then again land value as well. And in the areas where I have lots of these residential buildings which are producing this high land value between them, and with the help of a few well-placed policies, here I even have high-tech housing, even though it does cost a lot. I was trying to get the commercial buildings up to level 3, and it did manage to level up a few of them in these areas where I have a high land value. It's not really that good of a trade-off, because I'm paying a lot for all of these buildings just to get like 4 or 5 commercial buildings up to that level. So I was thinking about actually turning off the high-tech housing in these areas, because it just costs so much and it gives back so little. I don't think I have any other areas with that policy. It was just that test area and none other. The interesting thing to see would be whether or not these buildings would downgrade now that they are going to lose some of the land value. I don't think it will happen. They might go abandoned because they've lost the land value. At some point this building may say not enough land value, a pop-up may show up, and then if the land value isn't increased, it may get abandoned. But they simply will not downgrade, they will just go abandoned. And then another one of the buildings may go up and then reach just the level that it can without the extra land value. These buildings went abandoned because, of course, you can see not enough workers, but they should have leveled by now to level 2 so that they would have enough workers for that level. I'm not sure what's stopping them from leveling. Yeah, you can't see until they actually have workers, but this one says not. No level up information, no level up information. That's annoying. Maybe it doesn't have workers, so it can't give me any information. Yeah, if it doesn't have workers, it can't tell me what it needs to level up. So more of them are going to go abandoned until they actually level up. I'm not sure what else I could give them. I already gave them a metro station, I gave them bus stops. They're covered by every service imaginable. So it's simply up to them to actually level up. I still have commercial demand. Let's see where I could find more spots for it. It's really amazing how much commercial demand there is. I never expected to see that much commercial demand, and I'm not sure is that how the game should run. I mean, I am exporting so much goods that I do understand that there should be a lot of commercial demand to try and spend those goods, but like I said, I'm not sure does the demand come from the residential areas, or does it come from the industry who wants to find buildings to sell those goods to. I am now up to 89,000 population. It goes up a little bit, then it goes down a little bit, so yeah, you can see here. Now it's 740, it was... Now it's 780, now it's 771. so it goes up and down a lot. I can't really be sure why. I mean, I don't have any abandoned residential buildings. Is it maybe the amount of people who die and are born? Let's see. Per week, yeah, I do have 270 deaths per week, so that could explain partially this number going down, as I don't have any buildings who are being abandoned, but it could also be that it just takes a while for the residential area, which I had dezoned here, to show up as a drop in the population numbers. These buildings have yet to go up. The industry has gone up and some of it has leveled, so I should have less problems with the abandonment issues due to not enough workers. And after the industry, again, I can have more commercial. Since I already have commercial demand, I might as well build up more 4x4 commercial areas here. And after them come the offices, 4x4 again. So at this point I will have to increase these roads down here to be able to zone more residential. Now I won't zone any yet until these zones here are filled and the previously dezoned and rezoned areas down here. And this one is also waiting to be built up forever now. How is the number of jobs? Jobs available, almost 50,000. People employed, 47,300. So I'm missing over 2,500 workers, and I really hope that I increase my population a bit faster. Now it's at 90,000. I think this is the first time I've reached this number. So almost 100k. That is a lot of trucks in here. I really need to find a better way to get rid of these goods and not just keep exporting them. I'm not sure which would be the appropriate way to fix this. I guess I could potentially get rid of some of the industry here. Let's say this entire line here, and switch it for more commercial buildings. That should get rid of some of the exported goods and also spend more goods inside the city through the commercial areas. I have been thinking about how would I get the industry that's here on the right and here on the left to level up to level 3, like the industry in the middle has leveled up. I'm pretty sure that they've leveled up because of the cargo train terminal. I have tried using more parks and that didn't manage to level any more industry up. So I'm pretty sure that it is the influence for the cargo train terminals that has the industry who is close to it leveled up to level 3 while the other ones are at level 1 and 2. I'm guessing that if I were to make another city expansion here, have another cargo train terminal here, it would then influence the industry that's here on this edge, and it would level up as well. So that will just be something that will come on its own when the time comes for a new expansion. But until then I will just be playing around with this expansion here. Still buildings at level 1, not sure how would I level them up. There's not much else I can do to force them to level up. I think I'm starting to run out of garbage capacity, so this incineration plant should come online. The highway ramps here do seem to be operating nicely, but there isn't really much traffic here to test that even out. I was dabbling with the idea to use the same thing in these areas instead of the two-way streets, but I am not going to do that because I've already dabbled with these areas far too much. Some of these off-ramps aren't in the best possible places because you can see here this off-ramp is stopping the traffic which is flowing down from this right lane, and they just refuse to use the middle lane because they know that soon they're going to be using this right lane to get onto the highway, so they just refuse to use the middle one and keep being stopped by the traffic entering from here. Okay, now you see what I'm talking about. You see this truck, it is going from the most outer left lane into the most right lane by getting itself in front of these other two lanes and stopping the traffic. What it should have been doing is going faster than these other ones and then overtaking all of them to cross a lane and not stopping them. Look what this guy is doing. He has stopped his lane, the lane next to him. He's not going to stop the third lane in order to get into it, just so that he can get into it. So that's the problem, because the vehicles, you see, instead of going in front of it and then moving into that lane, he stops the traffic into the left lane so he could get into. If you did that on an actual highway, you would create a chain accident and just kill a lot of people. That was insane. Like I said, that's just not how it should work. They should either coast behind the vehicle or pass it at a higher speed and not do this. You see that? That is just... It's kind of partially because of how I placed this thing. It should go a bit differently then. In that case, the traffic should go from here into here, and then only then it should go into that one. So now they will stop going from the outermost lane into the right lane to get off here. They will get in here, then they will take some time to get into the appropriate lane to turn off here. Alright, I think this is basically enough for this video. I have covered a lot of ground with these zones, and I think I got a lot more teams to move in. I am where did I get up to 90,500 with the amount of jobs that is filled. About 3,000 have yet to be filled. More industry will go abandoned until it levels up and takes up the teams that are highly educated into highly leveled generic industry. Like I said, this will be enough for this video. Thank you all for watching, and please stay tuned for more.